Welcome to the Life Curation Podcast. I'm your host, Andrina Tisi. Together, we will explore thoughts, inspirations, and conversations that feed our soul, spark the mind, and nourish the body. Thank you so much for being here to learn and grow and for walking this journey called life with me. It's here, my podcast, Life Curation. So, Life Curation, a term I created, meaning how all aspects of our life are creatively intersected and influenced by each other. According to the dictionary, curation signifies both an act of organizing and maintaining a collection of artworks, or the agent act of curing or healing. So in this podcast, we will look at all parts of our life: relationships, career, finances, social life, health, joy, and fun. I would love this to be a platform where you discover new information, get nuggets of inspiration, get triggered to ask yourself and me questions, and find answers. If you are a seeker and someone who is ready to spread your wings and embrace life at its fullest, this podcast will be for you. There will be a mix of solo episodes where I share tools, rituals, and routines that have supported me on my journey, as well as share thoughts, processes, and inspirations that are current in my life. I'm excited to have guests on this podcast who will share their wisdom, insights, and journey, including their ups and downs, successes and setbacks they experienced in the past and currently. My intent is not to talk at you, but with you. To not only have conversation with my interview guests, but also with you. We are in this together, learning from each other and about ourselves. I'm already excited to hear from you with questions, topics you would like to dive deep into, as well as suggestions for guests. At the moment, the plan is that an episode is released every 1 to 2 weeks, and I'm excited to incorporate my Swiss and North American heritage. Some episodes will be in English and others in Swiss German. So many of you know that I was born and raised in Switzerland, in an old farmhouse at the edge of a forest. At 21, the urge to spread my wings beyond the Swiss Alps made me move to New York City. What was supposed to be an 18-month work experience during my hotel management studies turned into 14 years, moving in 2007 from New York to Vancouver, Canada. But what is actually much more interesting is the fact that moving from Switzerland to North America and vice versa is much deeper in my family. In the late 1800s, parts of my ancestors on my mother's side journeyed to America, to the land of possibilities. Years later, in 1936, at the age of 28, my grandmother traveled to Europe, intending to visit family. Now, today that doesn't seem to be a big deal, but imagine a young woman traveling by herself in those times. But if you would have known my granny, you would not be surprised. She was an adventurer at heart. And it happened what often happens. She fell in love and stayed in Switzerland. Her oldest daughter, my aunt, ended up falling in love with an American and settled down just outside of Seattle. My cousin, the eldest daughter of my aunt, during her time in Switzerland, fell in love with a Swiss and stayed in Switzerland. So you can tell that there is something in our blood that has us move across the ocean. English was always very present for me while growing up. The first sentences very early on I understood were, "She's hungry," or "She's tired." This is what my parents would say to each other when I was cranky. And with sleep and food, you can still make me happy to this day. This is the long story of why this podcast will be bilingual, as I think in both languages and would also like to provide the space for my guests to speak in the language they are most comfortable, to be as authentic and true to themselves as possible. But why did I decide to start a podcast anyway? I was looking for a platform that feels authentic, to share content that feed our soul, spark the mind, and nourish the body. And I was reflecting on how do I get my inspirations, new learnings, and knowledge. And it is definitely mostly through podcasts. I love how while driving, cleaning, sunbathing, or maybe walking, I can listen to my favorite or new podcast and continue to learn and be inspired. A little bit more background about myself. Since the end of 2013, I'm self-employed as a coach, mentor, and teacher. My coaching practice has evolved from health coaching to now working with people as their guide in deep personal transformation, to heal and rediscover their power and to feel empowered to live their true potential and to make dreams come true. Before that, I worked 15 years in the hospitality industry in various capacities, from chopping vegetables in a restaurant kitchen to senior sales and marketing for hotels. Triggered by my personal health challenges, I was looking for answers and deeper meaning in life, and landed in yoga classes and workshops and further educated myself until the day came in 2013 I decided to quit my corporate job. Throughout these episodes, you will get to know me and my approach to life better. So with no further ado, let's start curating and connect those dots so that the whole beautiful artwork of our life can emerge.